Hi.
Hi.
Long time no see.
I know. I was
actually talking.
Yeah.
I've seen you, but it's been a while.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, geez, Lake George CrossFit was 15 years ago. 10
Probably
years ago?
10 to 12.
Yeah.
Because I started in November of 2012 when we were at the old Flexappeal, which is now a gun range.
That's OG.
Yes. I think I'm like the last person remaining of the old hat that's still there.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll never leave. I'll die with the place.
What happened to Dirk? Where's Dirk? Shout out to Dirk Boone, by the way.
I don't know. He occasionally will like a thing on my Instagram once in a while, so I know he's alive.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
That's funny.
Eric Ross would probably know more about where in the world is Dirk Boone.
I really enjoyed Dirk.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned everything about CrossFit and what I know now from him.
Yeah.
So I owe a lot to him.
Yeah. He was a funny guy. He had a funny air about him because he was so quiet. He never said anything, but every once in a while
he'd give you a tip and you're like, did something right.
Yeah, I know. He really did have that like ability that like when he did give you praise, you're like, stand up a little straighter. It was pretty funny.
Yep.
So you've been doing the podcast circuit a little bit. We were just talking about that.
A little bit, yeah. Trying to get not so much my story, although that's a part of it, but my new business out there. And it's new, but like not new. I feel like I've been doing it forever, but it's going well.
I know I've been like watching stuff on Facebook. I mean, that's pretty much how I know anybody these days is through social media, but unless it's work related. But and I was pleasantly surprised to see that you're still sassy AF. I was telling Kristen before she left, I was like, I gotta tell you, one of the favorite thing, and I still call you Katy Cook, but
that's okay. A lot of people do.
I was like, one of my favorite things. She is just so fiery and sassy. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that like hasn't taken off more on social media, but there's a lot of that lately. So I'm not the only person who is that way, but that is just me.
I know you're super authentic. That's what I was saying. I was like, I always liked that about her. Like, it didn't matter like who the audience was or who was standing around. Like, you're not afraid to be who you are and say what you have to say. And I think that's in today's society. I think that's huge.
Yeah, and it lends itself well to coaching people.
Yeah.
Granted, I do blend a lot more empathy into my coaching. I'm not an asshole. Otherwise, people wouldn't want to work with me. But it like I sent a message to a client this morning. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to skip weighing ourselves because we overate the day before. We need to have the data. We need to know exactly what's going on. I need you to do this. Just very matter of fact. Like, I'm not. People want to perceive that as a negative. That's on them, but that's the facts.
Yeah.
Like, I need the information. So
So let's if people haven't heard, let's fill them in on your backstory a little bit. So started CrossFit 2012.
Yeah, gosh, that's so long ago.
Now, was that really like it really was. Was that really like the beginning of your fitness journey, or like were you active prior to that? Or
I was, but not in a serious way. I did the Planet Fitness thing for a while before CrossFit and played like recreational softball. I played sports in high school, but I was never really athletic in college. And I was so bored with Planet Fitness and had no structure. And I found it increasingly easy to convince myself not to go. So I wanted to change. And I'm pretty sure I just like Googled like different gyms in the area, and like George CrossFit popped up. So I went to the website. I was like, this seems interesting. Like, never done a class before. I'll just go try it. And I did an assessment with Dirk. And back in the day when we used to do assessments, it was like you need to jump rope for 1 or 2 minutes. And I was like, I got this in the bag. I was struggling so hard to just do this basic thing. And I was very humbled doing the assessment that I was like, I should try this for a month. And it was expensive. Like, at the time, it was $100. I wasn't making a lot of money, so I was like, we'll just do this for a month or two and we'll see how it goes. And here we are 12 and a half years later, and I'm still going.
Yeah, well, and again, $100 for a gym membership compared to Planet Fitness, it's like $10. I don't know if it's still $10 a month or not, but like it's a big difference. Yeah. Yeah,
and I've been there ever since. I coached there for 6.5 years. I'm still an active coach. I just don't coach anymore due to time. I coach our barbell club now. So that's a lot of fun. I do Olympic weightlifting more than CrossFit at this point and compete locally. I do state competitions. I've done a few national. So I'm just always, I feel like, evolving every couple years in like what I do for fitness. I don't know what the next few years could look like. I have somewhat of an interest in Hyrox. So I may look into that at some point.
It looks nasty.
It does. But it's a nice blend of like my overall experience that I think I would be somewhat decent at it. I've tried running. I hated that. That's just not for me. I have a lot of respect for people who run. I can't do it. But yeah, I'm just in an Olympic weightlifting phase right now. But it gets harder the older you get. I'm going to be 37 in September. So I noticed the last few years, like, recovery is so important. Stretching is so important. And then what I eat and how I feel myself, so important. Especially if I want to be an athlete, which still sounds like weird. I have a little bit of imposter syndrome sometimes with that, but I'm an athlete, and it can be a full-time job, like truly to be good at it. And I'm not saying I'm good at it, but it's hard. Yeah,
you get a bit of time in.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I tell my clients, I'm like, it keeps the crazy at bay. Like, truly.
Having that outlet.
Yeah, having a physical outlet.
Keeps the rage down a little bit.
Yes. 100%. If I didn't have that, like, that would be not fun.
It's interesting that you say that too, because I know that and my workout schedule right now is not where I'd like it to be because work is so crazy. And, but it's like if I go 2 weeks, let's say, without like really getting after it, like I get so freaking moody and irritable and like, I'm not fun to be around, I don't think.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I'm religious 5 days a week. Like, I am the same 5 days every week. I do not stray. I go at the same times. And
you still doing early mornings?
Man. Yeah. It really works for my schedule because with everything I have going on, like, that is like the hardest part of my day is done. I don't have to worry about working out, and especially in the summer, it's too hot to go in the afternoon. I like getting up early. It doesn't bother me. I naturally get up sometimes before my alarm at 4:30 a.m. and I'm good with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an early riser, but I don't know what happened. I used to be like, I would get up and work out immediately, like 4 or 5 a.m. And even when I started CrossFit way back in the day, I used to go to the 6 a.m. classes because that was the only thing I could fit in my schedule. But recently, I don't know, last few months, I'm like, I've got this new routine. I actually just said today, I'm like, I got to switch up my routine because now I like get up, take care of the dogs, make coffee, drink coffee. And then 90 minutes has gone by and I've done absolutely nothing. And then I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to get my workout in the rest of the day. But that early morning's nice. And
it is.
I don't know if that affects women this way, but I know for guys, that early morning cortisol, working out in the morning really helps with those cortisol levels. And that cortisol, Betty?
I can't say I know enough about the impact on women. I have been looking a lot into cortisol just because I do work with women, but it's more around like work and stress and not so much training.
Yeah.
Not many of my clients are like training to the level that I do. So I haven't looked that much into it, but I probably should. Even for myself.
Yeah.
Like, I've had my cortisol levels tested twice as an adult through saliva, and mine spikes at night, interestingly enough, despite working out in the morning. So like, I'm going to bed just like, like I gotta have like a better wind down routine because I'm stressed at the end of the day.
You got to get those morning photons. That's what you need. You need that sunrise light.
Yes,
that's what Huberman says.
Yes. I love Higher Up Wellness, Michael Smolak. I don't know, Smolak. He's growing in the online fitness space. He's big on TikTok. So I don't know if you're ever on TikTok, but he's on there.
I'm not a TikToker.
But he's Higher Up Wellness on Instagram, and he's always talking about getting morning sunlight too.
Yeah. I mean, I get all the sunlight I can, but
100%.
All of it. Give me all of it. No sunscreen.
Yeah.
Stuff's poison, everybody. So now work-wise, so you've started, it's Athena, right?
Yeah.
Athena Nutrition. And you've been doing it 3 years now?
No, a year in November.
That's it?
Yeah.
I really feel like you've been doing it longer than that.
No, I haven't. I had been approached to if I would help people with nutrition back in December of 2023, but that was like the worst of my addiction. And I was like, I'm not in a good spot right now, so I can't help other people. But no, I started coaching actually, where are we, July? So about a year ago, actually, I started coaching people for free. Okay. I took on 3 or 4 clients because I was like, people reached out to me because I had gone through my own weight loss transformation. And I had the fitness coaching background, so I was kind of known somewhat in this little community pocket of like, all right, she knows how to coach other people. So I started taking on a few people for free while I thought about, what do I want this business to look like? Process, check-ins, like all the back-end stuff that is really boring. Yeah, but necessary. Very necessary and still evolving. Gosh, there's so much that I need to learn. And then in November, I was like, all right, I'm going to announce this more broadly. And very naively, I thought, if once I announce it with a Facebook post, like everyone's going to want to work with me. That's not the case, especially with nutrition and fitness. Like that's a very vulnerable place for people to be like, I need help. Yeah. Or I have let myself get to a point where I am no longer happy and I'm sick and I don't feel good. And to embark on a journey of change is not an easy one to do. And a lot of people are scared to do it. And in January, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I started looking for a business coach because I truly believe like coaches should have coaches. Yeah. And you should always be evolving and learning and growing in your career or whatever pursuit you have. So I ended up finding a business coach through a couple different Facebook groups that I was in. And he's based out of Dubai, and he coaches like hundreds of people in this space every year. His name's James Goff. He's awesome. He got me from 3 clients to 25 in like a matter of 3 months. So I grew super fast. Yeah. Almost too fast to the point where like I started to burn out a little bit. And that's where I made the decision I need to back away from my career, which today is actually my first day as part-time in my career.
I saw that post. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's scary though, because I'm like, all right, now it's really happening. I have to really make this work. And summer's a slow time for people to wanting to be focused on nutrition when there's barbecues and vacations. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a slump right now, but I'm just staying the course because, I mean, you've owned many businesses. There are going to be seasons of being uncomfortable. Oh, yeah. So I'm leaning into that the best I can.
I'm like always in the season of uncomfortableness.
Yeah, so. It's not fun. Granted, I have, I think 20 clients right now. So like, it's not like I'm not successful. Like that's a good client base, but I want 30, I want 40. I want to have more impact because I'm seeing the benefit of what I'm doing with women, and I do coach a few men, and it just like every day I'm just like smiling. I'm like, this is so awesome to get these text messages like, hey, I just ran a mile today for the first time in months and I didn't feel terrible, or I joined a group workout class and I was so scared but I held my own, or I just fit into clothes from 2 years ago that I couldn't button up. And it's like, I love that so much. And to be a part of that journey for somebody, that's what I really enjoy doing. So it's money's great, but I'm not going into it with that mindset. I really want to have impact because I want to be the person that I wish I had at low points in my life. So I want to give back. Yeah. Because I've been very lucky and very grateful that I overcame addiction and, you know, have a personality that and a presence that lends itself well to what I'm doing now. And I just want to capitalize on that the best I can and help other women realize that they don't have to look in the mirror every day and hate the person they're looking at, because I've been there and it sucks. It's not fun. It sounds awful. It's not fun. It's not fun at all.
I started off the podcast with Katy Cook, but that's not your actual last name. So if someone goes to look for you afterwards, they're not going to. So and I'm going to butcher your last name. Margison. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I actually would have gotten that correct, everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
So you mentioned the addiction part of things. So obviously we should get into that. I mean, you're obviously very open to talk about it. I think your Instagram handle is the Sober Weightlifter.
Yes.
So give us the story.
Sure. So today's 18 months sober. Yay. Which is really cool. And it was actually a year ago today that I actually announced it like publicly, like, hey guys, like I've kind of dabbled in that I'm sober, but like this is what was really going on. So I've been kind of a drinker my whole adult life, but I went through seasons of like consuming it a lot, not consuming it a lot. Like you might remember like when Kevin and Lisa took over the gym, we would do these challenges, and like there were seasons of life where I was like on the straight and narrow, wasn't drinking at all. And in like 2017 or so, it started to get out of control. I got sober in 2018 for 3 months, thought I could moderate, as many people do. They're like, okay, I've taken enough time away from this thing. I think I got a handle on it. And for a while I did. And then of course COVID happened and my drinking started to increase because I think for a lot of people, I was home by myself all day because at the time I was single and my job was very in demand. So I was very grateful for that. But I was just working at a desk all day in my little apartment. And I was like, well, 3 o'clock, like nobody's going to care if I'm drinking. So I would start drinking. Yeah. And it continued to just slowly spiral. And really it got bad in like 2022, 2023 was the worst year. And I got exposed to cocaine. And I had done it in college, like a little tiny bit here and there, but then 10 years would go by and I didn't touch the stuff for a long time. I was like, that's gross. I'm not doing that. Yeah. It's too much for me. That's too hard. And then over time, like just people I was around, it started coming out at parties and I was like, oh, like, why not? And then it would become like, all right, we'll do this like once every other weekend. And I could still go to bed at like 1 a.m. and like get up and function the next day. And then it became every weekend. And then it became like both weekend days. And then it became both weekend days and like Wednesday. And it just kept like going from there to the point where I was like, I'm like barely hanging on by a thread here. I'm still working my job 5 days a week. And I have a very good job. I'm a director at a healthcare nonprofit. I have a good job. And I'm like, I'm going to lose this job if I don't get my shit together. And I was still weightlifting at the time, which blows my mind.
That is wild. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 or 4 days a week, but it was like getting less and less. Like you wouldn't see me on a Saturday anymore. And I used to love going on Saturdays to the gym. So it just continued to spiral and I knew I was going down a bad path. Like I was anxious all the time, sleep deprived, starting to really like hate myself because I'm like, how did I get here? Like I was a fitness coach, like really, I did CrossFit competitions. I have a good job. Like this is not who I am. And in mid-December of 2023, I'm like, I've got to put a stop to this or it's going to kill me, especially because you never know what that stuff is mixed with.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We weren't like testing it to make sure it was okay. So it could have been one hit and that would be it. And I wouldn't even know. And it was like December 15th, I think. I was like, I have got to stop. So January 1st, I don't know why I didn't stop in that moment, but I was like, January 1st seems like a
good milestone.
Good milestone. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to get sober on January 1st. So until then, I continued for the next 2 weeks to do my debauchery. And my last drink was at like 2 o'clock in the morning, January 1st, because we partied all night.
Oh, yeah, you go after midnight. Sure.
And
doesn't count till you wake up.
My last line of cocaine was about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
And that was it. And I have not touched the stuff since. And it initially was going to be like the cocaine, like absolutely not. I had to stop that because that really took a hold over me. Like it truly, like it was all I could think about every weekend. If I knew we weren't going to do it because we had plans, I would be agitated. Like it got bad. And the alcohol, I was a little more relaxed on. I was like, maybe I'll go like 2 months. I'll do this competition in Columbus, Ohio, and I'll see how it goes. And something that was a big catalyst for me was someone said to me, you know, I bet as soon as you're done lifting, you'll probably have a glass of wine. Like you'll see Katy over there getting off the platform with a glass of wine. I'm like, that's what people think of me? Like, this is not okay. I don't want to be known as this person. Mm-hmm. This is not who I am. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, nope, we're going longer. Like, we're just going to see how long we can take this. And now it's 18 months and it's one day at a time, truly. Like, I try not to think like 30 years from now, will I still be sober? Mm-hmm. I don't know. There could come a time where I could handle a glass of wine 20 years from now. But for now, I'm staying sober and it's awesome. And it's really hard at the same time. But it's been the best thing I could have done for myself because I truly think another 6 months, something really bad would have happened.
Yeah. Well, at the rate you were going, it sounds like you were...
Yeah. I mean, there were instances where I drove home and I'm like, I don't even remember how I got here. Like, I could have killed somebody. I could have killed myself. Like,
Yeah, that's wild.
Slippery slope. I'm lucky that something really bad didn't happen to me or to somebody close to me that I was doing those things with.
Yeah. I thought it was just drinking.
No.
I didn't realize that you were...
Addicted to cocaine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody did other than like people in my very
immediate
circle.
Right.
Like my family didn't, nobody knew. And when I came out with that a year ago, I was so nervous. I'm like, what are people going to think of me? Like, what are my colleagues going to think of me? Like, I'm well respected in the healthcare space, and it's been nothing but warm and supportive. Like even my boss at my current job that I still have, she was nothing but supportive and like so proud. So I'm glad that I did that, because I think a lot of people hide that kind of information because there's still a stigma around substance use, and coming clean with that, especially if you're somebody who's not the typical person you would think is doing those things.
I definitely never would have put you on doing coke.
Right.
No way.
And who's to say there's not a lot of other like normal white collar people like me who might be doing that and doing it behind closed doors and nobody has any idea.
Yeah.
Like I was good at hiding it. No one had any idea.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I wasn't anticipating that.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I think it's great. I was like, as soon as cocaine came out of here, I was like, what? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you. And you talk about it really like, I don't want to say nonchalantly, that's not the right word, but you're very comfortable about talking about it though, which I think is really cool.
I think it's important to not normalize doing cocaine, but
right.
Do not normalize that, kids. If you're watching this, do not do that. Trust me. But just having open conversations is so important, because I hope that it resonates with somebody, and me just being my authentic self and being vulnerable about it maybe will encourage someone else to open up about the thing that they're scared to talk about, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Addiction happens so frequently. Like, we hear about opioid epidemic all the time, and it's true. It's so easy to get it. Like, even to this day, I know exactly probably 2 people I could call if I wanted to get some. Like, it's crazy, and it shouldn't be normalized whatsoever. And I sometimes kick myself that I normalized it for myself as long as I did, but really no regrets. Like, truly, that was a crazy time in my life, and I have a lot of love for the people that were in my life at that time, but I'm in a new season of life now, and things are different, and that's okay. Like, I don't look back at that like pissed at myself.
Do you find that you have to like make sure that you stay away from those people?
Yeah.
Again, not that they're bad people, but I'm just saying, like,
that's been probably one of the tougher parts of sobriety, is the change in friendships and the dynamic around that. And I'll be the first to admit I didn't navigate that well. I belong to an online community called Happiest Sober Hub, and that's been helpful because it's not AA or NA, which are things that I don't really align with personally due to the religious aspect, but to each their own. This is something that works for me. And how do I put it? I had to protect my peace and my sanity for a long time. And I think I'm just starting to come out of that. I kind of shut everyone out for a little while. And that was my coping mechanism, because I was white knuckling it those first few months. My husband was still drinking through that. He is now sober for over a year. So that's amazing. And I love that. But those first couple months were really hard, because those same people were still in my life, like coming over to my house and drinking. And I'm over here like, oh, man, this is tempting. This is really hard. And I had to just kind of cut ties. And looking back, I know I should have been more open with them about where I was at, but I just didn't know how to say it, and felt like I would be maybe judged for being like the lame sober person, and like, oh, what, you're too good for us now. Those are stories we tell ourselves, right? That probably wasn't the reality, and I could have handled that better. I've made peace with some of those people, I hope. But others, that there's still kind of that open wound a little bit, and I'm hoping at some point I'll be able to have a conversation with them. But as far as I know, some of them are still kind of in that lifestyle to a certain extent. To what extent, I don't know. And I just don't want to be around that anymore in my life.
Gotcha.
I'm fine with people want to drink around me. I don't care. But to excess or having drugs out, absolutely not. I don't want to be around that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. But it's been hard. Navigating friendships as a sober person is hard because it's like, oh, I don't have this thing anymore to rely on to make me more open or fun or sociable or extroverted. And I always thought I was very extroverted, and I'm learning more and more that I actually prefer solitude and I prefer being alone. I lean into work a lot. I read, I garden. I've become kind of, people would say boring. I think my life is great. I don't consider it boring, but
it's funny you say that too, because I think about that with, the whole boring thing. It's kind of like, well, like, I don't know, like I'm 48 years old. I've been to all the parties. I've done all the stupid shit. And now that just seems kind of boring to keep doing that stuff over and over. Yeah. Right? Like there's other things out there.
Right. And I centered my life around alcohol, especially. And then near the end, drugs. I wouldn't want to go somewhere if there wasn't going to be alcohol. Or like we would pregame, like if my nephew was graduating from like pre-K, we'd like pregame it. I'm like, what a piece of crap I was. Oh my God.
That doesn't make you a piece of crap. Listen, as a father of 4 now, I've been to plenty of birthday parties that have kegs and it's for a 5-year-old. Like it's pretty common occurrence. It's funny. I know that, like, well, so just so you know, so like I'm not drinking this whole year either, and it wasn't because anything happened. It was 2 good friends of mine, husband and wife, were gonna go for the year without drinking, and we were just in a conversation. They're like, "Oh, you should do it with us," and I was like, "God, that sounds freaking awful."
Right.
Okay. So, and then I thought about my statement, my reaction to it about how not drinking for years sounded awful. I'm like, well, if it sounds that bad, maybe I should. And I like to do hard things anyway. So I'm like, maybe I should just do it. So then I agreed to do it with him. So this whole year, it's been, well, and I'll tell you, I think Steven and I talked about this, but shout out to Steven Zabala over there at Green Fork, and make sure you listen to his podcast, Food for Thought. Katy was also on that one. But I'll tell you, and I can't speak to the cocaine aspect, but the not drinking aspect, though, like it really does change a lot of things. It's not just not drinking. It's like how good I feel, how like clear-headed I am because I'm not like a little sluggish from the 4 beers I had the night before, 3 or 4 days a week. Like there's just so many things. But to your original point about it, like changing relationships with people around you, like it really does. Like there are certain people I can't be around anymore just because I didn't realize that I could only be around them when I had a couple of beers. Yeah. And now when I'm trying to be around them sober, I'm like, oh my God, I got to get away from these people. Like, I can't even. And not that they're bad people. They're just, we don't mix well, I guess, when I'm.
Yeah. And I keep saying like seasons of life. Yeah. Like this is a different season of life that I'm in. And I really like it. And I'm liking the person I'm becoming or really have become. And I'm liking the people that are starting to kind of firm up in my life now. And it definitely, I lost some friendships, and that's hard. It's heartbreaking. Like I miss those people 100%, but that was old me. And I just don't know if old me really aligns with, where they're at. Yeah. And maybe those things will mend over time, but I'm okay where I'm at right now and what I'm doing.
You can't worry about all that stuff anyway, right? Like,
yeah, I've really started to put all of that to rest and just be at peace with it. Because I can't change the past. I can take ownership, and I have. And I think even saying the things I'm saying today, like taking ownership if I didn't navigate it that well and let people know where I was at. But at the same time, like you really do have to protect your peace in sobriety, especially early sobriety, because it can be very triggering. It's hard, especially if you're living with someone who's not sober. There was just too much like that could tempt me where I kind of just had to stop going out. Restaurants were very limited. Like I was trying all these mocktails to like make myself think I was still drinking. And I didn't really reach out to anybody in early sobriety. Like no one really knew that was a journey I was on. I wish I found community sooner than I did. Yeah. I wish I came out with my story sooner than I did, but that fear of judgment is real. Like, I was worried like I would lose my job. Like, what are they going to think of my credibility?
Yeah. I mean, you get judged no matter what, though. Like, I feel like I remember a post on like Facebook or something where like you were catching a bunch of flack about essentially because you had said that you had based your whole life around alcohol previously, but now you're sober. So you're basing your life around being sober. Mm-hmm. And I feel like someone made some like troll comment about like, you're still centering your life around alcohol, even though it's with it. Like, was there like some troll? Am I making that up? I feel like I remember some like troll posts where you were like getting flack about being so outspoken about being sober, which I thought was wild. But
I have received a little bit of grief about being outspoken. Not so much on social media. It's more been like in person with people. But you know, they're entitled to their opinion. Like, not everybody likes to be out with their personal life and their information. Like, I'll use my husband, for example. He never talks about his sobriety. He doesn't post about it. You might not even know that he was. Mm-hmm. And that's his choice, and I respect that. And he respects mine to be completely out about it and create an entire identity. But that's being out loud about it is important for me to stay on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about it, then I'm accountable to a larger community that I'm going to stay the course. And even with like my coaching, I really look at my role of being a role model for my clients. Like, I need to stay healthy and on top of my nutrition and my fitness, because if I start to slack off, what's that going to show them? Like, I need to be a good role model, and if I start to slack off, that could give them permission. Like, oh, well, she's doing it, I can do it.
Yeah, you gotta walk the walk.
Exactly. And I do pride myself that I walk the walk and talk the talk now that I kind of wish I always did for so long. Like, yes, I was fit and I competed and I coached, and I think I was a decent coach, but I still drank, and sometimes drank too much. And not to say you can't do both, but there was a lot of times where I was like overdoing it and trying to like hide that from the world. Yeah. And it's like, it's just such a toxic cycle. And when you have to think about it that much, like, your alcohol consumption starts to like play over and over in your head, and you're out at dinner and you're like agitated because the waitress isn't back with your second glass of wine. Like, you might have an issue. Yeah. Like, and I knew that all along. I was like, man, why am I getting so mad about this? Like, and I wish I had somebody to like slap me and be like, wake the frig up. Like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah. That's wild. I've definitely been in that. Where's my beer? Getting agitated.
Yeah.
Before. You're not alone.
Yeah.
So like with your coaching business now and what you're doing, like, how are you working with clients? Like, what does that look like?
Online primarily. And it's, so I have different like tiers of coaching, but primarily it's a lot of accountability, and I rely almost exclusively on like building awareness of what you're eating through, you can do that a couple ways. Obviously, tracking macros is like the gold standard in my mind. And I have a lot of clients who do that, but I have some who don't. Maybe we look at a balance plate, or we do hand portions, and we kind of have a tracker of like, how many hand portions are you having of protein per day? We address emotional eating, especially for women. That's a big one. All or nothing mindsets as well. It's very common for, I'll just say individuals in general, to decide they want to go on a diet because they're at a weight that they're not happy with, and they take it too far. They cut out all the carbs, or they cut out all the sugar or alcohol, or they go on like 12 or 1,300 calorie diets, which is insane to me. And they'll do that for 3 or 4 weeks, and maybe they'll see some success. They'll lose the 10 pounds and be like, all right, sweet, I'm going to go back to what I was doing before. And then wouldn't you know, 3 months later, the cycle repeats itself. And I work with women especially to break that cycle. Like, you do not have to live like that. And that is not easy work, because women are conditioned to think that 12 to 1,300 calories is how I lose weight. I hear it almost every week. Like, well, that's how I lost weight before. Great.
12 to 1,300 calories.
I'm like, I ate that before 10 a.m. Like, Jesus. And encouraging them to eat, can I get you to eat 1,700, 1,800 calories? Like, maybe 1,900? And they're like scared. They're like, aren't I going to gain weight with that? I'm like, just trust me. Please just trust me. And the ones who do are the ones who see results. Like I share screenshots of text messages and before and afters all the time. Those are women who trust the process. They track their food. Some even go and weigh and measure their food. I'm not saying everybody has to do that. I take a very phased in approach with clients and meet them where they're at, because that can be too overwhelming for a lot of people and may not be necessary for some people. But really it's around, let's build awareness of what you're eating, because you might be under eating. That's very common with busy women. If you've got kids and you're running around all day, you're taking care of them and you're not thinking about you. You're grazing off their plate and maybe getting 1,000 calories in some instances. So either under eating or they are unknowingly overeating. And how can we find a balance in the middle? So awareness is huge. I don't expect my clients to track forever. I'm somebody that needs to, because it's very easy for me to go off the rails. So I enjoy tracking. I enjoy weighing and measuring my food. I don't preach that to all my clients, only the ones who feel like, if I feel like they're ready for that next step or they've hit a plateau, all right, let's start paying a little more attention to like the portion sizes. But really, like, just starting to build awareness around what you are eating every day can be so eye-opening. When I have clients start tracking, even for the first time, they are shocked at like the amount of calories in certain foods that they were eating every day that they had no idea. Or, just education around, why is protein important, especially for women? Why is strength training important for women as they age to preserve their lean muscle mass? And I do a lot of fitness programming for my clients too. And they start to feel empowered as time goes on, and they start to see results and their measurements go down and their clothes fit better. And it's like, this stuff isn't that hard in theory. Like, I really just try to teach them 2 or 3 fundamentals a day. Like, I want you to at least have awareness of 1 or 2 of your meals, if not 3, whether that's tracking or hand portions. I want you to get some steps in. We need to move more. Society as a whole, we need to move more. And, some sort of like self-care mindset journaling practice as well. Like, I have my clients set intentions for the week, or I'll have them journal with a prompt. Write down one good thing that happened to you today. Like, practice an attitude of gratitude and watch your life start to turn around. And drink your damn water. Like,
drink your damn water.
Drink your damn water. And I struggle with that too. Like, I definitely don't drink enough water myself. So it's like these basic things that we all know, right? We all know, but to put it into practice every day, that's the hard part. Staying consistent. And I see it happen with clients like 4 to 6 weeks in. That's when it's like, all right, this is hard. I'm not seeing the results I thought I'd want to see. And I'm like, Becky, you've lost 7 pounds in 4 weeks. That's really good. Yeah. Like, that's really good. But we're always like, it's not enough. It's not enough. And I'm like, when is it going to be enough? Like, what were you expecting? 20 pounds in 4 weeks? I would be very concerned if that was the case. So it's a lot of work to dispel those long-standing beliefs that a lot of people have around diet, food, nutrition, fitness.
Do you get into, like, are you like pro keto or carnivore, or do you stay away from getting into any kind of like eating plan, not plan, but like, I don't even know what those things are called, but
I mean, the keto diet, carnivore diet, that's what they're called. I tend to stay away from that unless there's like a clinical reason to be limiting things, which currently I don't really have any clients that fall into that category. And I always stay within my scope of practice. Like, I've had 2 clients, not leave me, but like they've moved on to like a practitioner because they weren't seeing the results with me. I had them do blood work, discovered like insulin resistance, potential PCOS. All right, you need to go see somebody else. You may need to get on a GLP-1. I'm a supporter of that if you build the foundational habits while you're doing that, or have them going into it.
Not doing it in place of it.
Correct, which sometimes happens. I'm actually doing a workshop with Elevation Medical Aesthetics next Thursday for their weight loss clients, so that they can hear, this is the part that maybe their team doesn't get to deep dive into as much as they'd like. They may have the knowledge, but I'm going to come in and talk about strength training and why that's important. nutrition and balanced meals and why protein's important, especially when you're on a GLP-1. So I'm excited for that opportunity. I feel like a lot of fitness and nutrition people tend to poo-poo GLP-1s, and really it can be a very effective tool for certain clinical conditions. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So who am I to, shit on it?
Yeah.
But as going back to your original question, I apologize. I don't really get into that because, again, it goes into that mindset of diet, restriction. I have to cut things out. And I'm trying to pull women away from that and realize they can go out on a Friday night and have a few slices of pizza and a glass of wine. Just on Saturday morning, you're going to get up, you're going to get your workout or your walk in, you're going to have a healthy breakfast. We're going to have some eggs, some sourdough, like Greek yogurt, some fruit. And it's like back to business as usual. You don't throw the whole weekend away because you had one bad night. And that's what tends to happen. We're so good Monday through Friday, and then Friday night comes around and we've told ourselves the story that we've earned it or we deserve it. And that goes with alcohol too, because I used to do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, we haven't earned anything. Like, you know what you've earned? Like another good day of progress. You owe that to yourself. Mm-hmm. It's okay to go out and enjoy barbecues and have cocktail hour. And I help clients navigate that. Like, if you're going out to dinner, send me the menu. Let's workshop a few meals for you that you can track ahead of time, and you feel confident going into that you're going to have a good time. You're still going to eat a meal that, is a little off plan, but you have a plan in place and you're not going to overdo it and wake up the next morning feeling guilty and awful about that decision. So balance is super important to me, and there's really no food that's like off limits for people, as long as we can fit it into your day in a way that is balanced and like moderation. Like, I don't want you eating Druthers mac and cheese 5 nights a week, but special occasion, you're going to Druthers, like, have the mac and cheese.
Yeah, it's good.
It's very good. It's one of my favorite things. I think when at Steven's podcast, my death row meal had Druthers mac and cheese.
Oh, it's Druthers mac and cheese.
Yeah,
that's
love
funny.
It. But yeah, balance is really important, because clearly what most people have been doing with most of their lives doesn't work. Because we have a country that's extremely overweight, sedentary for the most part, and is always looking for a quick fix. And what I do is not a quick fix, which I think sometimes is a hard sell on my part.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm asking you to sign up for 3 to 6 months with me. And if you can give me 6 months of your life doing this work consistently, I promise you the rest of your life will look easy.
Yeah.
Last year, I put my head down for 6 months. I lost more weight than I anticipated, but I was like, this is great. And it really reinforced the habits that I needed to do every day to stay here. And now I just maintain it, and I don't have to think that much about it. I don't have to be in a calorie deficit every single day. Mm-hmm. I just know that I have my non-negotiables, and that's what I teach my clients. Like, let's have non-negotiables every day. This is your system. You can always rely on it, no matter how crazy life gets.
With your female clients, do you, when you start talking about strength training, do you meet resistance because they say they don't want to look like a man? Do you run into that? Because I keep hearing that recently from, I don't want to say many, like I have lots of women that I'm having this conversation with, but I think I've heard it half a dozen times in the last 2 weeks from women.
Oh, man.
Like, well, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to, be manly. And
I mean, I don't. Do I look manly? Do I look manly? I don't think I do. I have been strength training for over a decade. I don't look like a bulky dude. So I actually don't hear that often.
You don't? Okay.
I don't.
That's refreshing.
It is refreshing, because if I do, I think I would roll my eyes and they would be like, what did I say?
Some of that sassiness would come out.
So thankfully that doesn't happen. I have a lot of clients that do workouts at home with dumbbells, and they start 10 to 15 pounds. Some work up to 20, 25, 30, 35. Some of my longer term clients, one's not working with me anymore, but she's still doing those workouts. And she's like, I feel awesome now. I feel so much stronger. I can help my husband bring things into the house. This is great. That's what I want. What I want women to understand is the level of dedication that you would have to put into your fitness regimen to look like the quote unquote manly build that I think a lot of women think of, the elite female bodybuilders. Do people not understand like how hard that is to achieve?
I don't know. I think they're going to lift a single weight.
Like you're not going to do 5 days of bicep curls and look like that.
Right.
You're not going to do 5 years. Like
I work out all the time and I don't look like that. So
yeah, I'm just content like looking like, oh, I think she works out. Like, okay, cool. Yes, I do. I like being the strongest version of myself. I don't think that I look manly. And there's this like, I don't know where this came from. Like, you have to be so dedicated with your nutrition and fitness to look like that. 99% of people are not going to be putting in that kind of effort because that's not their goal. Yeah. And you're not going to look like that. If you can just do 3 days a week of some sort of progressive overload, whether it's in a gym or at home, you can see good results with that combined with a good balanced nutrition program.
Is there anything fitness-wise that you stay away from these days? Like with your clients? Because you know how it's every week there's a new article about this is bad and this is good and this is what you should be. I mean, it's staggering just how much information is out there and about like, oh, you're doing it wrong if you're doing Olympic weights, or you're doing it wrong if you're only doing kettlebells. And then there's people that only do kettlebells, or there's people that only, and
that's annoying.
It is annoying, but it's like, you know, because you try to stay educated and you try to stay informed, and there's all these dissenting opinions about
and
what
that's just
should
that
be
they're
doing.
opinions.
Right.
They're not rooted in any fact. And that's part of what I help clients with is let's wade through the bullshit. Like I'll get asked at least once a week, like, should I start intermittent fasting? And I'm like, can you just do like the things that I told you to do? Like, we don't need to explore intermittent fasting. Is there a time and place for that? Yes, I do think so. I've used it with a few clients who have insulin resistance because there are actual clinical studies that show benefit of that. And that's what I tend to rely on is like, what is the science saying? Not what some like Forbes like opinion writer says because he's pissed off at women that day and thinks that this workout is bad. So I try to help wade through all of that when I get those questions and like, here's what I think. You can make your own decision, but this is what I think for you specifically. And this is my reason why. So trying to wade through all that because, and this is something my business coach had said early on when I started working with him was we don't have an information problem. We have an implementation crisis. And it's so true. Like you could go on ChatGPT and figure out a workout program tailored to you exactly what you have access to, how many days per week, how many minutes, but you don't do anything about it. Why is that? And that's, I think where having a coach, at least for a short amount of time, can really be helpful. I have a lot of clients who come to me arguably as knowledgeable as I am, some of them. Like I have nurse practitioners, I have nurses, I have I have two who are like nutrition people themselves. And it's like, they know what to do, but they just need the accountability.
Yeah.
And that's arguably more of the journey than it is like, here's your macros and your calories and your workout program. Let's continue to check in every couple of days. That's great. I can do that all day. But what I can't teach you is accountability. You do need a partner, somebody who's going to hold you accountable until you can start to do it on your own and it just becomes part of your life. And you know what? Some people may never get there. But my hope is that after a couple of months, my clients don't need me anymore. Like, I don't want them to have to work with me forever. If they want to, great. But truly, I want to teach them what they hopefully can implement into their own lives without a lot of extra stress or mental energy. The accountability is so important. And
it's huge.
My accountability is having all of them. That's what keeps me on the straight and narrow is like, I have all of them. I owe it to them to be a good role model.
Yeah, I'm an absolute huge proponent of coaching in any aspect. I mean, I'm working with 3 coaches in 3 different areas of my business right now, like trying to fix some things and make them better and scale them. And shout out to Bill Tansey over at the UpX shop. But like, you know, Bill's a friend of mine but he's working me through his process, and I know that I have to get that work done before our next meeting. And it's holding me accountable to do the work. I've read all the business books. You know what I mean? I've gone to all the workshops and done all the things. And so I know what to do, but putting that to your point, implementing that plan is challenging without someone that's holding me accountable to do it. So
100%.
Totally on board with what you're saying. I know we're getting close on time. What does the future look like for Athena Nutrition?
My hope is that it continues to grow. I want to have like double the clients I have right now, because I want to be busy and having an impact, and I really want this to be my full-time thing that I do. So I've made the first step by stepping away from my career a little bit. Eventually, I'd say like in the next year, I'd really like to pull away from that entirely. Fingers crossed, but it's on me, right? I have to put in the effort. A lot of what I do is, you need to have ads and effective ads and doing a lot of outreach, like DMs and providing value to the larger community. That's where like my content can sometimes be a little like off the cuff, like, sassy, as you said, but I'm also trying to put out content that's informative. Like, this is why this thing is bad for you. I have a free Facebook group that I have like 175 women in, and I'm posting in there every other day. Like, this is why peanut butter is not a protein source, like things like that, just like general education that maybe isn't socialized a lot or they don't get exposed to. So providing value to the community is really huge, and that builds authority attraction, right? So people eventually may consider me when they're thinking like, man, I really need to get my weight under control. Oh, I always see Katy's content. Maybe I should chat with her.
Yeah.
That's my hope, is to continue to grow on social media and just get better at all of this. Not the coaching part, like that's the part I'm good at, but it's all the business stuff, the marketing, the social media that some days I feel like I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. So I have a business coach. I'm actually potentially going to work with another one just to get like my back end systems a little more organized, some more automation, and potentially like restructuring my offers. It's constantly evolving. Yeah. And just when I think like, all right, I've got a handle on this, the next week it's like, no, you don't. Like, here's a new challenge. I hope to someday like have like a virtual assistant or maybe a part-time coach and like build a team over time. So my hope like long-term is Athena Nutrition becomes, at least locally, regionally, a well-known resource for nutrition. And I know that there are other nutrition people around here, and I'm social media friends with a couple of them. And like, I think we can all play in this space together.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of the people that have been on Stephen's podcast. I'm like, I started following them because I'm like, I have a lot of respect for these women. Like, they're super knowledgeable, and I want to surround myself with people like that so that we can all rise together.
Yeah, I agree. There's so much business out there in every industry that when I see people that are like cutthroat and trying to hold on to their little piece of the pie, it's like, you don't have to be that way. Like, you be best friends with your biggest competitor, and that's just going to make you guys better. And rising tide raises all ships, right? Right.
And I'm considering like leaning into the sobriety thing a bit too. Everybody talks about like find your niche, and it's like, okay, I know my niche is definitely women that are similar in age to me, 30s to 50s, maybe perimenopausal, but there's a lot of people that focus on that. So the sober angle is interesting because I especially think in the last few years, the sobriety movement is gaining traction. There's more and more people, even younger generations, that are like, alcohol is like not good for you. And now this US Surgeon General is coming out with like more and more warnings about it. So I'm comforted to see that there's a growing trend of people being sober curious. There's more mocktails on menus, like dry bars, things like that. It gives me hope that, our alcohol obsessed culture will eventually turn a tide, and maybe 20 years from now, we'll look at alcohol the way we look at cigarettes. I've said that on TikTok before, and I got like shredded for it. People on TikTok are crazy. And
people on everywhere.
I lean into it. Like, I'll duet their comment and I'll be like, really? And then I'll just like go off on a tangent. But I've had women reach out to me quite a bit, asking like, hey, like, could you offer me some advice on sobriety and what your journey was like? And I'm not a counselor, so like I try to manage that carefully because I'm not trying to be a therapist or a counselor, but I can be your friend. Yeah. I can, be your sober buddy and your accountability partner and offer advice of like, this was my experience. Here's what maybe would work for you.
That's what I was going to say, is you can speak from your own experience. It's not like you didn't do it and you're trying to give advice. Like, I think my own personal opinion is that if you've done something and you've done it successfully, that qualifies you to be able to give your, to talk about your experience and how you did it.
Yeah.
And maybe even start to help them draw parallels between what they're going through and what you went through, and try to help them navigate that. I mean,
right.
I think it fully qualifies you. So
I've had a few clients found me because of my sobriety content, and they wanted to lose weight as well. And it's been great because I can kind of help them in those early days. I mean, God, I wish I had somebody in my early days to even talk to. Like, it was like Lonely Island. It was not fun. Yeah. So I hope that I can be that person for someone else that maybe I didn't have.
That's awesome.
But I also didn't seek it out. So, like, that's on me.
Well, can't be perfect.
No. I always tell my clients, this is like my go-to quote, don't aim for perfect, aim for better.
Yeah. So if people want to learn more about you or about Athena Nutrition, where do they find you?
So my website is athena-nutrition.com, and the Sober Weightlifter on Instagram. I am shocked that I got that name. I'm shocked I got that name because, like, I thought
without
it would be
an underscore or a 149 or whatever.
There's another account, the Sober Bodybuilder. He has like hundreds of thousands of followers. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sober Weightlifter on Instagram, or Katy Margison on Facebook. Oh, and Athena Nutrition on Facebook too. I did finally make a business page.
Nice.
I'm getting there. Like, it's one day at a time. I'm getting there.
Yeah. Slowly and surely.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for coming out to the farm. Always better to do it in person than over Zoom.
I agree. So I agree.
Really appreciate it. And appreciate everything that you shared. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs.
Well, you know what? And I do have to say this too, because I meant to say it before, but when you said that, like, alcohol consumption being down, I actually just read, like, I want to say it was like a huge number, like 40%, like, alcohol sales across the country are down, like, huge number.
I mean, I feel bad for, like, liquor store owners who are like family shops. Like, oh, that stinks.
I mean, you know, now the statistic I saw was they were drawing a correlation between cannabis consumption, which is way up, and alcohol consumption that's way down.
Yes.
Which I'm sure there is some correlation there. But I also know, just in my personal life, like, I know tons of people now that are just like, yeah, I'm not really drinking anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not, I don't feel like shit. And a lot of us are getting older.
That's a lot of my female clients that are in their 40s and 50s. They're like, I just can't do it anymore. No. It's just, I feel horrible after.
Not even worth it.
Not even worth it.
So, all right, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Of course, you can find us at buyinglocal.com. No, sorry, geez, I'm buyinglocal.us. I don't even know my own website. And you can find us on all the social media channels. And, of course, you can listen to this podcast on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and podcast. Thanks for listening.